Hello, Taurus. Hello, my friends. I know you have been waiting. Look at the card that came out. I really have been meditating on your energy for quite some time. I can't remember who it was, but somebody in the comments on one of the other videos, they were like, "When are you going to do Taurus?" And just like any other thing I do, I wait until it's time. And guess what? It's time. It's time for us to have a little talk. I was actually upstairs unpacking. I did go to Corpus again. John and I had to have some tough talks, and I needed to pick up another load of our household and haul it back. I did do that today. So I was upstairs unpacking my bag and sore and all the things. All of a sudden I got a hit with like shopping. I was like, shopping? Where's the moon? You know, I came downstairs and I knew that I had to do the cards for you. I was seeing visions of like, it would be like in the 1700s when they would take those very large combs, you know, the elegant combs, and kind of pin them in their hair and put like feathers on it. I saw jewelry and gemstones. I saw, tennis bracelets with sapphires and diamonds and emeralds and diamonds, pearls, you know, and I knew it was Taurus. I knew it was Taurus. When I sat down, Heather and I had a really good chat for a second, but I did take the time to, where'd you go? Where'd you go? None of these are it. Hold on, because I'm pulling it up for myself. I did take the time to gauge the intensity of this solar eclipse that is coming tomorrow. And I did it on purpose because everybody's going to ask, and you guys are catching it first. You are the first ones to know how I feel about this beautiful thing we have right here. If you know how to read astrology and you know your chart, or at least you know how to pull up your chart, I'm going to give some key takeaways real quick, but just for Taurus. And I heard several people go, "Yay!" You Taurus people, Taurus over the 5th people. It is a solar eclipse, okay? The moon is going to get in front of the sun, and the moon will be eclipsing the sun. It's not a total eclipse, but that's okay, because when I looked at it, it looked rather wow. Okay, I'm looking at it, it's probably like 86% coverage. It's a pretty good one. What makes this eclipse even more special, and I'm not going to go into all the astrology stuff because there are a gabillion other astrology translators who are saying their piece on it. But if you have your chart, my beautiful friends, let's start in Scorpio, which is in your opposition, okay? Scorpio, whatever you're holding, whatever you have power over, Scorpio energy. If you don't know the house that it's over, AI, Google it, do whatever. But wherever Scorpio is, this is what you are giving over. I'm going to turn the music up because you guys need to hear it with Mozart in the background. Whatever you are holding, my friends, whatever you have power over, this eclipse is making you pick that thing up and offer it over to the divine collective, which is where this eclipse polarity is happening in Pisces. So the Neptune individual in Aries, that Neptune individual is to use what they have power, Scorpio, wherever Scorpio is, pick it up and hand it over. You're going to give it over to Pisces. Now, the other special thing about this eclipse is that it's not going to be forever. It's going to be fast, less than a year. These changes are going to happen like that. Why? Because the portal opens, dun, 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 and usually we don't have a position like this with Saturn. As soon as Saturn walks over the threshold, the door closes and we're done. That's it. So that's why I'm asking you to look at your chart, please. Ah, Mozart. Whatever you have control over, yield to Pisces from wherever Pisces is in your chart. Yield. Okay, the other part about this eclipse, it's ruled by Mercury. And let me just give it to you, right? That's Virgo energy, Mercury. Okay, not really Gemini, Virgo. So we're talking about fertility, harvests, crops, natural resources, environment, schedules, or the way things are organized, your work and how you work and what you are working at, okay? Public health is on the list. If I go down my own personal Virgoan thing, it could be teenagers. I'm just going to throw it out there. Teenagers. Teenagers. Yeah. People with attitude. Yeah. We're also talking about training, right? Student, teacher, right? Coach, athlete. It is a position of, I like the way I saw it in one of the Sabian symbols a little while ago. It talked about a family as each individual serving the other so they can serve the other that serves the other that serves the other. And around and around and around we go. That all mankind stepping out of a monetary currency is supposed to be doing, where we are as a divine collective in service to one another. As spirit puts them through my door, I say, can I get you a drink? Why don't you sit down? Let's look at your chart, because that's mine. That's mine. And so all the interruptions between me and thee are all those spirit connections that must be done, even with myself. And this is going to point that out. So I need you to look at your chart. That was almost 8 minutes. That's in a flash. It'll be here. In a flash, it'll be gone. Whatever is in front of your face, you will see specifically with Neptune at the 0 point degree, retrograde in Aries, that little special place. You're going to see what you were made for. You're going to see exactly what you were made for. It'll be right up in your face. I'm not asking you to sell the cow and start running after it, but I do and would appreciate if all my Tauruses could kind of start making that adjustment in their head and saying, okay, Neptune and Aries has given me that Ace of Wands. The focal point will be in Sag, of course, where Vesta is at 3 degrees, almost 4. She's saying, oh, over here, this is their place of expansion and luck and open doors is right over here. This is who they are. Do not play any more games. In your mind, begin to embrace the fact that you are. Remember, we went through I am, and that is enough. Now it's, what are you, though? I know what I am. Look at your chart. All right. That was 9 minutes. I'll put your reading on top of it. I'll make everybody else read your reading too. Look at your reading too, right, Taurus? Okay, so diamonds and gemstones. Let's go, right? Loving it. Taurus. All right, hold on. Let me pause. Centering 544 on the clock. I'm looking at it. Taurus. Ooh, Taurus for September 2025. Taurus, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus. Show me Taurus, please. I have the Nine of Swords. Right there. The High Priestess in the reverse. The King of Cups. The Eight of Cups. The Ace of Swords in the reverse. The Three of Cups in the reverse. The Eight of Pentacles in the reverse. The Queen of Pentacles in the reverse. So the Six of Cups in the upright. That's part of the challenge right there. That's interesting. And the Queen of Wands in the upright. That's interesting as well. Page of Pentacles in the reverse. Oh, and the Sun card in the reverse. Two of Cups in the reverse is part of the challenge. And the Emperor is part of the challenge. The Seven of Wands in the reverse. The Ten of Wands in the upright on the underside of the deck. Love this Mozart business. Okay, two things coming in. One, catching, well, it's like not, someone's not able to sleep. There's things on this person's mind. I also see that without this certain piece of information that they've tried to push to the back right here, they're not going to be able to have a resolution. And their challenge is or has been looking at a situation differently. There is a message in this where the person is looking at emotional health and emotional strength and spiritual, making your inner life reflect your outer life. And there is this sort of challenge there. I'm also kind of catching here, I don't know how this is coming in. Someone has hesitated to stand up maybe to a bully. There's been a bully-ish kind of energy from someone. I'm not saying it's you, but I'm just saying a bully sort of energy. And there's been challenges in standing up against the bully and saying, not ever again, not ever, ever again. And some of this bullyish energy could have come from a younger mindset, is what I'm picking up. A less mature mindset for sure. I'm also catching that there's something here that's done regularly, and we're finding out that someone's not, it's almost like the person that would do it for you is not usually there. They're not usually there. It causes worry and distress. Some of this could also be financial for sure. Something could be financial. I am getting that mothering energy who is upset at the way that things are not being handled, the way that things are not being done. Also catching that someone may have picked up recently a piece of information or a piece of news or knowledge that is coming in, and it gives the impression that it would be like saying, what are you doing? We've been driving on the other side of the road for like 10 years. You keep driving over there. It gives this, I've been going down a certain road for a very long time, and now learning that the whole time I was doing it, it was off. Not by much, by a margin is what somebody is saying. By a margin, something is off. Carrying the weight here of trying to control the situation. There is news and a message as well. It almost could be a lot of messages hitting you at the same time. Could be like spurts of electricity. News. And all of them together is kind of like, whoa, 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 whoa. Because it points out something in the future that you wouldn't be able to control anyway. You know, you wouldn't be able to control something anyway. Some of you have felt that as a protective or a protection measure, you felt it necessary to separate yourself out from someone or a group. There is a rejection kind of going on in place, but I can tell that the rejection exists because of something that was not given or provided for. It's something that was lost, quite possibly by a divine masculine here. I'm catching something strange like the burning of your books, or yeah, because there's history here. There's history here. Someone could have taken pictures and destroyed them. Someone could have and at the time, they didn't want to stand up and they didn't want to fight for something. Someone took something, maybe even like a lure. Someone taking something like a lure. One of a kind, something that is one of a kind. Something that is now lost or something that is now missing. I do see that Taurus would really gain a lot here from tapping into some support, friends, family members, people who can give you not just wisdom, but guidance on how to correct something. It could also have been that gossip or slander was at the center, of a belief system that someone kept carrying out. A mismanagement here with the Eight of Pentacles in the reverse. Not being able to take control of work or effort. There's how would you say it? The way that things have been trying to move forward. There's wait a second, because this is a concern that has to do with ability. And a person, yes, being far away from you, sure, but also someone who might be getting different set of directions, that they're going to pick something up and take charge of it. And there's worry and there's concern, maybe there's danger around this thing. Maybe there's danger around. I do have an Aries, I have a Leo, they're out in the future, and a Virgo and a Cancer, which is in the reverse. To me, this is definitely like picking up a piece of paper and seeing that something was mishandled, mismanaged, and kept a secret for a long time. It also shows that there has been someone waiting in the wings, like holding on to something here. They have their own life story kind of going on at the same time. And it's almost like you guys are meeting at the crossroads. I do really catch gossip or slander being done behind another person's back, but really especially talking about finances or money. And money, labor, work. Again, it has to do with something that's supposed to be regular. And there's some sort of concern around it. The challenge here could also include trust. And someone sitting in a position ready, quite possibly, to make all of this stuff stop. If there is somebody in your energy that's carried a lot of unforgiveness or begging, I just heard begging. If there's somebody that's been in your energy that, like, the direction of their life and the way that they're going Um, they're making some sort of confession here that fully admits that something needs to stop. With the Death card in the reverse, they're not able to create a stop. A divine masculine is not able to create a stopping point to a divine feminine's inner trajectory. I see that it's been crippling for someone not to show bravery at this time. Looking at something differently, finding a rejection in the past, like a message that words have been spoken behind another person's back. I also get gossip or slander as a job, like making it a full-time job to alert to everyone. Who is this person? Queen of Pentacles in the reverse. Talking about what someone else is capable of or not capable of. Ten of Pentacles, Ten of Swords in the reverse, Lovers in the reverse, Ace of Cups in the reverse, King of Wands in the reverse, and then the Jesus card with the sandals and everything, the Hermit card, who is finally seeing that commitment issues here why someone kept something a secret and would not speak about it. A negative headspace, quite possibly, Taurus, for being angry and upset around how much work and labor another person had to do. There's wholeness and regulation that it's kind of like coming down the pike. I think even perhaps whoever the High Priestess is in the reverse right there, this person's expectations are off. There's some sort of expectation here. And maybe that was part of the problem, but someone's expectations here regarding this other person who's far, far away. This might definitely be a family member, but it can also be like people who are missing at work, people who are missing, you know, they've given a piece of information over and made a choice from it that put a very large burden of some kind or some, I don't know, it's right on top of you though. And it's not going to work that way. Some of you may have been working at a job or a position here where they expect too much. You know, they're only paying you less than the 8, right? And they want a 10 out of you. And it's like trying to squeeze water out of a rock. It's just not going to happen. Rejection. Something being rejected, but it hits the earth. It hits the earth. Someone who possibly needs money, but there's something they don't need to be doing anymore. You know, it's too much for them to handle anymore. There's also I don't know if it is kind of like an affair or a cheating situation here. But after hearing a confession of some kind, someone is seeing, like their inner self is seeing that it, you know, if we have to go back a few steps to correct a situation, someone is willing to do that. It's sort of like looking at someone and saying they were all off, but the truth is none of it was ever on. You know, someone rushing. I have rushing here. I have someone getting hurt. Someone was rushing and someone got hurt. There's no excuse for what this person did. I have too much is in the reverse, but when I set it down, they're looking at, it's like a person sitting here watching the other one, and I don't know what they're saying. Maybe this person knows the other person really well. I have hard to get is in the reverse, and it's understanding someone. You know, in some ways it would be like, I need to understand how this other person is, and to make sure, or they're waking up and understanding, I can never have something around this person or they're going to get hurt. You know, I can't be the one to create an ending here that would hurt this other person. It says demanding is in the reverse. Someone is getting hurt by demanding, someone's demanding too much from the other one. Past trauma is linked to this in some way. It has something too hard is in the reverse. Maybe this person makes it really easy. Makes it really easy here. And there's a judgment. But like I said, someone is like understanding. Oh, no. If there's a Sag that is really upset with you right now, Taurus, they could be, I'm hearing you could be coming in to try to help the Sagittarius, but it's kind of slowing things down to take another look so that others don't get hurt. I have procrastinate is sitting there, so someone is too attached, and the fear and the loneliness is getting to them in some way for trauma that was done. But there's a difference here between these two people. I don't know if any of that made sense, so I'm going to try again, Taurus. This is someone trying to show emotional maturity at finding out that certain actions done by another person who maybe had the responsibility to do it and they didn't. They could have had a paranoia kind of set in. For why they chose not to stand up and get something done. But there is a fear there of harm if the other person gets too attached. Keeping a promise is here. Getting a room is also here. Promiscuous is also here. In their feels is also here. A divorce. Fighting for what you love. Claiming what's yours. Love is a battlefield. And a pregnancy test. Usually when I see the pregnancy test, for me, it's like turning into the card that means someone has been tested and tried. And when it's in the upright, it's almost like someone passed the test or they are passing the test. Yeah, but they're coming out like a fighter too. Like they could be giving somebody the eyes on the front end, but on the back end, they got a right hook, man. They got a right hook. I have caution when getting something done. It's a lot like trying to have to talk with people that consider you their enemy in some way, or they want something from you a certain way. Private relationship is in the reverse, and a copycat is in the upright. I don't know what the copycat is, but if I sit with it real quick, because I have this dodo bird leaving a relationship because they're bored, and they're walking over to a promiscuous situation that gets them all in their feels. Someone has to break away from that kind of behavior, and now we kind of see it. Someone's relationship is no longer private, and the clock was kind of ticking to alert someone's inner being that something was off. Something was off. And we may be finding out that piece of news back here, you know, where someone's divorce now getting looked into and seen with more open eyes. I have a red lipstick here on top of that, pointing at the Queen of Wands. So this is sensationalizing something, or it could be like a new player that steps up onto the stage and shows the stains, like there's the evidence of, you know. Betrayal is in the reverse. So if there was a divorce, or it's like, okay, if there was a divorce or a divorce that's fixing to happen, because once someone sees this truth, it's kind of like saying, no, I'm not going to apologize for the truth. I'm not going to apologize for the truth. You know what I mean? I want to make this thing public so that A, it doesn't happen anymore, or B, is this going to come out fast? Sort of like a person that doesn't want to get involved in someone else's risque sort of stuff. And we're expecting a new kind of beginning, and maybe somebody is doing this on purpose so that a new beginning could be had. This other person has spent a lot of time saying, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. And they turn towards whatever they ingest for pleasure. I have tantric sex here, destroyed, you know, destroyed over tantric sex, or destroyed over just living kind of trashy. They didn't want to hear another person's, you know, they didn't want wisdom. They are zoning themselves out on something, like completely zoning themselves out on it. So, let me do a love oracle for you guys. Show me for Taurus, please. I do kind of catch making sure that something never gets taken out again, or throwing something away, and to ensure that a certain kind of behavior never happens again. And standing in that position. I have healing. This could be like a really racy secret. There's a hookup. Someone who is, they were checking out the other side. I'm not kidding. They were. I don't usually have readings this racy, but you know, that's kind of what I see. It says the snake in reverse, like, and it's crazy because it's this other female who's coming in with a lot of seduction, because she knows how to, maybe she knows how to walk the walk. And she just comes in like with her high heel and just kind of tips the table over, and the whole thing goes, because it's coming out what somebody's tastes were, you know. It has music in the reverse, and when that happens, something gets shut off in tonality, where what they're listening to changes, what they're looking at. It's a communication thing that, and because they don't access that sensory thing anymore, it creates a disharmony, you know. A secret crush right here that is watching, and finances are here. And then between the lines is in the reverse. So it's sort of like someone's already made up their mind that they're going to create this, because you cannot fake. You can't be a fake. That's how this person is saying it. Don't be fake. Somebody going in with one performance thing, right? And secretly behind, they're doing something else. Don't be fake about it now. This other person comes in and just tips the scale. Goes boop. No, you can't do that anymore. I'm going to make sure, you know. This person that says, I don't know what to say, because this thing really does get exposed. Whatever this, it's going to be this week. I catch 1 week. A day has already passed, so we have 6 to 7 more days, okay? And this thing's coming out in the open. It says, I never want to feel that way again. It says, I wondered how far it would go. I don't know. It says, I understand you better now, though, right? On the underside of the deck, it says, I've been struggling, because I do. I see this person at the very beginning of the reading right here, Taurus, and they are hurting in their mind for somebody here having looked at a situation completely wrong. And the reveal point, you know, especially with the solar eclipse coming tomorrow, that's what eclipses do. You know, someone's in like a state of, I'm not going to move with the information I have in my head about another person. I'm just going to sit with it with this procrastination card. I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to say anything. And all of a sudden they come out. That's what's happening this week. I'm telling you, whatever this is going to stop everybody in their tracks. Everybody stops. Nobody's moving. Nope. It does show that justice, the justice card here, and correcting this is going to happen by Halloween, October 31st. Someone's going to hit the brakes and remove here any kind of leverage that had been used. You know, if a person enjoyed being in a space of just holding back this information, no, it's not. Because I do also kind of see, you know, let's get this thing out of the way because promises and commitments were made, right? Everybody's kind of holding on. And I'm telling you, it's going to be that fast where something is built, something is established, something is up and running. All blocks removed. No one has to wait anymore. The truth of something comes out. And to ensure, it's almost like someone knows how to get rid of the wart. You know what I mean? Someone knows how to get rid of the wart, and it needs to happen. We need to quit on the procrastination is what it's sort of saying. And it's so weird because your card comes out at the very last tail end with the 5 of Cups in the reverse and the Fool card. It says, that's enough for this. Choppity chop. Let's get going. I think that piece of information is going to be the one that spurs you along. Yeah, for some of you, this could be forgiveness. It could also be like a shaking or a rattling of something, like if you're in the West. And if you're in Southern California with the mudslides right now, I am so sorry. My energy of love and light, I send to you. I send to you from, yes, be blessed. Let people bless you. But this is someone who's basically saying, okay, that's it. We're going to wrap it up. None of this. No mas. No more. Whatever this discord that has been going on will quit and cease today. And that's really what I got. Well, there's your reading, Taurus. I hope you enjoy it. And I'm looking outside to see if it's going to rain. I love you guys. All right. Till next time. Bye.